with the Premier League or the Champions League, and it's not the case. But chasing a dream has its ups and downs, but as well make sure, as I said, that doesn't get blurry and doesn't get recognized what we've done. Because any other team, and I've seen it with one injury too, finishing 8th, 5th, 16th, 17th, what his team has done, in my opinion, to sustain the level throughout the season with everything that happened is incredible. We don't want anybody to value, but me as a manager, I have to value what these guys have done.
I think it's your 11th season as an Arsenal man, player and manager. Has this one tested you more than any other?
Yeah, and probably I'm more proud. Because of the culture that we set, because of the standards and the mindset that we have set at this football club, that regardless what happens, you have to seek for the best and do your best, and that's certainly what we've done.
I think the team were 10th, and maybe the club had lost the sense of itself when you were appointed Arsenal manager. It's kind of interesting now that you come second, get to a Champions League semi-final, and it's to mixed reviews, even from yourselves. You're your own harshest critic.
But that's fine. I think if you raise the expectation, that's what is coming. But make sure that it's with realism and analyzing properly what you have. Because we are there, nobody wants us to be there. We've been there now for 3-4 seasons, and they're going to want to take us from there, and that's going to be difficult.
How big is the period of analysis that's ahead for you, Mikel? Obviously, I mean, a lot of focus on the injuries, and you have had it tough. A lot of focus on the red cards, but I guess from your point of view, the analysis will be thorough and maybe have to be uncomfortable in places.
Yeah, like always, nothing different to any season.
How big is the summer ahead then, Mikel? You're the guy, you know exactly what they need.
Finish the season, go to the beach, enjoy a few days, and make sure the ones upstairs, they do what they have to do.
Enjoy. See you soon. From your face, did that take every last scrap of energy and resilience you've got left in your body?
Yeah, everything. Look, we've been poor by our standards the last few weeks in the Premier League. We obviously went so hard in the Champions League that our form dropped in the Premier League, and that happens sometimes. But Newcastle is such an informed side, and we've lost 3 games to this year. And the manager's message before the game was clear. Take it personal, and I think we did today. I think first half it's a bit of a slow start, but we grew into the game, and in the end we showed that grit. And 3 points at home last day. It was a nice day to top it off.
When you've had that moment where, as you say, you've dropped and maybe your focus has gone on the Champions League, how hard does it then become to pick it up and try and regain your top level?
Listen, we're Premier League footballers. We have to be at the level every single week. It was that we felt like we had such a good chance in the Champions League that obviously we had the momentum with that, and obviously with the league it kind of slipped away a few weeks ago. So it was really tough to take, but today to win was massive, and obviously Newcastle is such a good side, so to win was a big win for us.
I mean, you've always had the odd long-range goal in your locker, but it's sort of turned out in the last month or so that you're very good at shooting. It's another great finish.
And about time I started scoring frequently.
That's 9 goals, 10 assists, your best numbers in both.
Yeah, I like that finish a lot, where I can whip it on top of the ball across the keeper, and it was a special moment. I'm really, really happy.
Last one then, because the thank you banner for the fans is out behind us. How do you reflect on this season, Declan?
Difficult, really difficult. After coming so close last year in the Prem, this year we was, by our standards, poor, let's be real. And obviously to go out of every other cup competition and Champions League, with the team we've got, the manager we've got, we need to be competing for titles. We can't be taking anything for granted. And but next year we'll be back for more. Hopefully, we strengthen in the summer. We sign more players because we're probably going to lose a few as well. So, yeah, we're going to come back next year, be ready, be stronger, and even more hungry to win something for this club. And that's what we all want.
Well done.
At the moment, are you focusing on the progress for them and the direction of travel rather than the fact that there haven't been trophies in that time?
Yeah, I would. I mean, if you look at the all-round picture, 4 or 5 years ago, there also runs. The club's gone, it's going nowhere. He's put the heart back in the club. The fans are here, they turn up every week again. They're not far away, they need a centre forward. A couple of injuries here and there. I know people go, oh yeah, but everybody has injuries. No, they don't. Not to key players. I always say it, if you took Salah and Van Dijk out of that Liverpool team, believe me, that is not winning the league if they're out for a long period of time. And that's what's happened. Saka's a big player for them. Big players, him, Havertz, people have a go at him. He's a big player. You know, when he hasn't been playing, he's been missed. You know, they need a couple more players. You know, I hope he doesn't end up like Wenger did many years into his reign when everybody in the world knew he needed a centre-half and he never went and bought a centre-half. You know, I hope that isn't the case. They need a centre-forward to start with and they need backup in good positions because at the moment, when they make changes, it weakens the team. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. You look at Liverpool have won the league because players score goals up front. They've got 5 players that can nick you a goal here and there. At Arsenal, the front 3 are not real natural goal scorers. You know, I'd be surprised if they put together, if they got more goals than Salah, the front 3.
He has said, Mikel Arteta, that he and Andrea Berta and the board are aligned on transfer policy and they're looking at a summer of bringing players in for Arsenal. On the elements that they can control, do you think, and that to a certain extent, Les, they can control a bit more?
You know, you have to look at the injuries, the state of the injuries that they're getting. If people are getting the same injuries and you're doing something wrong in training, you know, the point you made about they need a centre forward, I think they've been saying that for a few years now. Arsenal, that you need a centre forward. So this is not last year's problem. This is the year before's problem, and you still haven't solved it. You know, I find it hard to understand where you've got a Lewis Skelly and you've got Ranieri, who young players coming through the system, but you don't have a centre forward at Arsenal that can go in and play 3 or 4 games and might get a run like they've had.
They sold the Ladlers, didn't they, to Man United? The young kid went to Man United. He went to Man. I think they had big hopes for him, and he chose to go Man United instead. I mean, but you're still right. I still think it's not just one centre forward. I think they need to. There's a saying in life: you keep on doing the same things, you get over and over again, you get the same results. It's insanity. If they keep on doing it again next year, then it's madness.
And you look at this Arsenal side now, and it's disappointment here tonight. You know, they finished second in the league, and instead of being happy, it feels dead. It feels there's not that level of excitement. This Arsenal side this season was expected to win something, and they haven't done that this year.
I think you're right, Les, and as well, I agree with what you're saying, Paul. There is progression in a lot of aspects, but I've no doubt that Arsenal and Arsenal fans and the manager will look at it as this is the big miss. This was the biggest miss of all because Manchester City have lost 9 matches this season. And for you, at the start of the year, if someone said that was going to happen, if it was only one contender, it has to be Arsenal. And for them to not be as close to Liverpool as what they've been, to some of the performances haven't been good enough, over-reliant on set pieces, not enough quality at times. And Paul's right, they need a killer in front of goal. The only one that you would say, Liverpool have 4 of them. So that would be an area certainly is going to strengthen. It looks like they're going to be getting Gyökeres from Sporting. Who knows how he's going to do. He's obviously got a lot of qualities. He was at Brighton, then he went to Coventry. He's done really well at Sporting. That's an area they're going to try to address. But no doubt at all, you can dress this up as a real positive if you want. Say second again, it's not good enough this season. This will be the big miss for him because Man City in other years have been so good. Yeah, but disrespectful to Liverpool. Liverpool are a good team. You know, this team are not coming from nowhere. Do you know what I mean? Liverpool should have won the league last year. You know, they were in the box seat. You know, they get beat at home to Crystal Palace, and it went then. You know, they're a good team. It's not like they've won it on. I've said that much, but it's not like they've won it on 60 or 70 points. They've been brilliant up until they've won the league. But to not be as close to them, that's what I'm saying, Paul. But I'm not supposed to. This is Liverpool being unbelievable. When you get it's very hard when you're juggling Champions League and that. You know, they had that big game against Real Madrid. So were Liverpool. Yeah, Liverpool went out, you know, but they'd already... Arsenal were chasing them at the time, and then they sort of threw their eggs into one basket, and then it was PSG, because you're thinking, they beat PSG, they're going to win the Champions League, you know, just beat Real Madrid. But Real Madrid wasn't as good as what everybody thought they were. And I think that's the thing. And this problem is with this Arsenal team, it's all right, I'm saying, and I'm trying to back them up and say, you know, they're a good team. But you've got to win something. It's not easy. You know, it's not easy. Every time it gets to like latter stages, they go. And I know people go, oh, they were ruthless last year and they just put their foot wrong once against Villa. But they did put their foot wrong. You know, all they had to do was be patient and win that game. I was here that day and they lost the game and Man City went perfect. But again, today, you know, last week, you know, next year they might have to go and beat Liverpool away and beat Newcastle at home. And it just, I don't know, it's not as easy as what people... Do you know what I mean? It becomes natural. It's hard, and that would be my worry. I think Arteta has got till Christmas, till everybody starts. I mean, they will have to be in the top 2 at Christmas.
to keep on going.
You think he's got to win something next season?
Yeah, I think next season, I think 4. Do you know what I mean? I think if you get to 4 and then no, you can't, because everybody wants to play for Arsenal. Do you know, people will come to Arsenal, so it's not like they're stretching to get players, and they've got the money. For me, yeah, next year he's got to be in the top 2 by Christmas.
Or?
Yeah, they'll go for someone else. They will. It's timings. You have timings. You've got to make opportunities. When it's your time, you've got to make it count. You see it go in circles. Teams like, look at Liverpool. They went 30 years, nearly 30 years without a title. A club like that, and then all of a sudden it comes round. Now, bang, they win trophies. They're there or thereabouts again. Man City. I remember I was at Wembley yesterday at Man City. I remember when they were needing to score against Gillingham. And look at it now. Like I walked out yesterday, and I'm walking behind the fans, and it was like, that's how it was. It was like there
win
was
something next season.
Yeah, there was no devastation. It was like, and I'm thinking, well, I ain't sure about that. I think again that's turning. They're not going to win 16 games on the trot next year. And you've got to make it count. Man United were dominant. Look at them now. And I just think they have to make it count. And I think this is the last year. And before you know it, after that. I think people like Saka, Jamie. I think people like Saka next year, if they don't win anything, will be going, wait there, Anita, I need to start winning stuff. I want to win trophies.
I see Arsenal and Liverpool. I think Manchester City have got a big rebuild. It's not going to be as easy for them as thinking that all of a sudden they're getting Rodri back and everything's going to be perfect again. It's going to be a lot more difficult than that. You've lost